Hello, adventurer! There's nothing more that brings me joy than a brand new episode of my favorite podcast. But I always do need a refresher, so let's find out what happened last time on The Incredible Party. Reconnecting with past acquaintances, the party has stumbled upon the last piece of armor they need. In the possession of Klash Bone Collector, the leader of a small band of guerrilla fighters doing all they can to stop the spread of the Nyogi. The party has convinced him to aid Samuel Koltice in assembling the armor of Kalar. And now the harrowing adventure continues. The camp for Klash's people it looks nothing like what the Paladins have set up. Now, keep in mind, of course, you're still, this fog has set in, but they've essentially, you've been walking in a northerly direction, kind of along, again, if you could see it, you would see the frozen lake that Mia had kind of spied from the long rest when you were higher up on the other side of the peak from the abandoned settlement. From what you can see, this kind of a bit of a break in the fog. You have a bit more visibility here as you have come into this camp, but nothing like what the Paladins have set up. Where the Paladins, like they've sprawled out, right, and they've attempted to fortify. But these guerrilla fighters, I vote we called them Clashers, just for ease of ease of a nomenclature here. But they're
the Clash.
The Clash. They've contained themselves in like a dozen or so smaller encampments, and obviously it's not this sprawling like miles of camp just due to their numbers. Significantly less than the Paladins, but established among this kind of slender saplings near the shore of this frozen lake. They're about 50 or 60 feet away from each other, but still very distinct. Doesn't seem like nobody has a fire. You see no signs of any smoke or campfire or anything like that. And the individual bedrolls, they've either been dug into the snow or have been crafted from like a material where they're able to be camouflaged against like the stark white snow that kind of coats the entirety of the mountains this high up. Obviously hidden incredibly well enough that you would miss them if the Clashers didn't seem to be in this like a packing up mode. Very clearly people are disassembling the camp right now, getting ready to move out. And Klash kind of remarks, "It's rare for us to be together like this. It's been too long as it is. Smaller groups, we can move more quickly and can disappear just as easily once we've inflicted the damage that we need to do.
That is smart.
Each group has their own orders, their own place to be. You can accompany mine to Samuel Koltice.
And how many are you?
No more than 100.
Your individual group?
Together.
Wow. How many Nyogi are there? In your estimation?
Difficult to count. Everyone we see, we kill.
Have you found any place where the eggs spawn?
Yeah, is there like a hatchery we can take out?
There have been groups entering some of the tunnels. Not far in, resources they gather, thralls they've taken. We freed many orcs this way. We have not ventured too deep, though.
Yeah, those eggs burn. We know that, right, Falzrand?
Oh, yes. I would highly recommend fire if you have access to it and are looking to get rid of a bunch of eggs.
Stomping underfoot works just as well.
I'm sure it does. When you got big feet. I look down at my feet.
Klash kind of looks around, bellowing, Lusky, where are you? And kind of emerging from one of the groups packing up. There just seemed actually to be kind of the only actual structure amongst this little camp here. It's not even, I want to say tent, but like that's doing the word tent a disservice. It's more like a It's more like a tarp that's strung, or the equivalent of a tarp that's strung amongst the trees to just create this very low-lying canopy. And it looks like it's still coated in snow, so as if like it's been purposefully recovered in snow to maintain some type of camouflage. Beneath that, from this direction that this person that Klash is bellowing out for, there's a number of orcs. Many of them look to be in rough shape. The majority of them seem to be like unconscious, whether it's sleeping or recovering. Alive though. This isn't like it's not where they're putting the dead bodies or anything. But many of them, like a few of them, look like some of the orcs when you were at the tower and you were defending it originally before the majority of the forces arrived, and you witnessed some of the orcs they looked like old and kind of roughshod and were in rags. Many of them here are also like akin to that. Some of them look a little younger and a little more like vibrant and like virile kind of thing, but clearly all of them are wounded. But this person approaches. Two people approach actually. A human woman. She has this jet black hair, eyes kind of a dark deep brown that nearly match the color of her hair. She's dressed in full splint armor, round shield on her back, and a mace in one hand. And a holy symbol hangs around her neck. It's this medallion that's sporting like a sun with 8 points that they kind of serve as like would be the offshooting like rays of a sun, overlaid with like an X, and then over top of that is a cross, more like like a plus sign though, rather than a cross. As the lengths of it are even. I don't know if that's difficult to picture that brief description, but right in the middle of that little cross, a little T shape, is a small pink gem sitting like embedded in it. In addition, a towering figure next to her in full plate, which includes a helm that it's this full face shield molded to resemble the screaming face of an orc. Other than that, though, you can't tell what race they are, because again, all features completely covered by this. Like they look like a walking tank. Klash motions to the human.
This is Luxi Ilmash. She tends to our wounded.
And to the figure,
Ulfa Bloodsworn. Talented, very talented fighter. Luxi, what of the injured?
the people that I've done what I can for them. They seem to be doing okay, but when many of them, they've been under the control of the Nogi for far too long. It's as if they've forgotten how to exist outside of it. They seem mostly non-responsive. They will eat. They will take sustenance when given, but I don't think they're going to be worth a fight.
That's very interesting. I'm Falzern, by the way. It's a pleasure to meet you. Do these people, do they respond to their name? Are they able to speak at all?
Well, those that are unresponsive, we don't know their names. There's no one to tell it to us. They do not speak themselves. Physical stimuli, limited responses too. When asked to stand up and move somewhere, they seem to do so without any resistance. But I don't know what else to do for them.
Would Falzern have come across magic in the past that could control somebody and leave them in that sort of state, or would this be new to him?
You can make me an Arcana check.
I would like to make some sort of religion check, probably, to see if I what I know about, or would I just know about this symbol.
Yeah, you can make me a religion, absolutely.
An adjusted 20 for Arcana check.
I rolled a 10 for religion.
Okay, well, with your religion check of 10, you do recognize this symbol. It does seem that Lushki is a follower of Emonitor. So what you can recall in your studies, I mean, you've mentioned many times yourself that you were more focused on the combat side of your upbringing. So what you recall, kind of vagaries essentially about this god, but you do recall that they are a deity of the sun and order. That's about all that you can recall. Falzern, with your Arcana check, you definitely know that the Nyogi's ability is not something born from the arcane. So the effects that it may wrought, or the long-term effects, which when Lushki, she's speaking of kind of the orcs that look clearly aged, right? And are most likely the ones that have been under the effects of the Nyogi for, years potentially, right? Like some of them look like they're approaching the end of their orc life at like 70 or 80. Like it could be decades that some of these people have been under this control, right? So you're not entirely familiar with the long-term effects of something like this, right? I would say that like it's by the description, it's very akin to like someone being feeble-minded. They have some faculties about like they're aware of or a loose awareness of their surroundings and can and do react to stimuli like Lushki has said, but there seems to be like there's just something is missing. Like there's nothing there. It's just like a vacant, like Grimby was, like vacant stare, drool coming out, right? Grimby had the capacity when he was feeble-minded to aid those that he was familiar with, right? And he could still perform some limited functions. That seems very similar to what Lushki is describing here.
So it sounds like Falzern wouldn't think that there's some sort of residual magic or arcane effect that could be potentially like dispelled or something. It's something different from spells that he's used to, that he might be able to fix, basically.
Yes, absolutely. There's a very, very slim chance that a dispel magic or something you suggest would have any effect at all, or even possibly subjecting them to the anti-magic field from the dodecahedron device.
You alluded to the fact that they may have been mind-controlled for decades. Would I have heard anything about any of this over years of being up in the mountains and being with the orcs, that we've heard of any of these mind-controlled type creatures for decades? Or would I feel like this mind control is somehow sucking the life from them and aging them in some way?
So essentially, kind of the standard, almost like a status quo of life in the mountains is that people go missing, especially the 5 or 6 orc tribes in the mountains have always been at war with each other. So there's always fighting going on in the mountains. People are always going missing, which plenty of people like orcs that like Horik would have grown up with or had fought against, rumors of these people going missing. But nothing like you've never heard outside of like when you first learned of them or encountered them, like outside of Drakal in that barn, right? Which I believe would have been the first time that any of you had seen Shaft and Falzern specifically, obviously different for me and Shakara, had seen the Nyogi. Outside of that, like you've never heard tales of like a description or one of these beings being described in your time in the mountains, like growing up and spending the time you spent with Horik in addition.
I'm going to ask Lushki. So you think this mind control is what's causing them to not be able to respond, and you think this has happened to them for years, maybe decades?
Many of them. I mean, look at them. They look malnourished. As again, we've given them what they need physically to survive, but I can only imagine having another entity's thoughts pushed into my own head for years and years, what that could do to somebody.
That would mean the Nyogi have been here for a lot longer than we thought. So Mia, do you know of any kind of magical ritual or something you can do to maybe clear their minds? You know, the Brightwoods, don't they like know all this stuff? Can Thor do something?
Well, you know, Shaft, I certainly don't necessarily practice all of the arcane arts that someone like Mia does, but my gut leads me to believe that this isn't a residual magic that is causing this. I think, like Lushki is saying, it's just the buildup, the remnant of just years and years and years of having your mind invaded by another creature. I'm not sure that I or Mia would be able to do anything to fix this.
I can do something against their charm, but they're no longer charmed. So Greater Restoration says, like, one effect that charmed or petrified the target. So it's really, unless there's, like, a cursed magic item somewhere that they're attuned to, that sort of thing, like, Greater Restoration isn't gonna help. So I don't think I can do anything. I'm so mad right now.
It's unfortunate. Well, I guess, we can't do much to help your friends, Klash.
It's a long shot, and like I said, I don't think this is a lingering magical effect. I think it is more of a tainting of their mind, but I could try. If there is any magic affecting them, I could use my device, Shaft, that, I don't know.
That's worth a try,
Yeah, I suppose.
It won't hurt them, right?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
What is this device?
Well, it was something that we found when we were in. It's a long story. It doesn't originally belong to me, but it was being used by the enemy for purposes not totally clear. But it essentially casts a field that dispels all magic in its zone of influence. It can be quite useful for certain things.
I've tried everything I can. So if you have something new, and like you say, it will not hurt them, I don't see why not.
I don't think it can cause them any harm, and I'm not confident that it will work, but I think it's worth trying. So Falzern will reach into his bag of holding and pull out the anti-magic sphere thingamajig and walk over to one of the closest of these people that's sort of incapacitated, or whatever you want to call it, and I will adjust the top to create just a cone facing toward them and shine it on them and see if there's any effect.
Okay, as this conversation is going on, Ulfa, she looks fidgety. They're kind of like shifting weight back and forth, and in their hands actually they have like this big like maul with it's like a spiked maul. Clearly the spikes have been fashioned after it's a aftermarket addition to this weapon, but she just kind of has it like in both hands, but like at her waist, like down, like arms down. But they seem, they're just shifting their weight almost impatiently. Falls in as you open up the anti-magic device, that gray light kind of battles with the surrounding fog, right? And you shine it on this group of recovered orcs, and there doesn't seem to be any change as you do so.
I will try to speak to them. Hello there. Can you hear me? What? Do you understand?
Falzer and they are too far gone. We should quit wasting our time and go meet Samuel with these new pieces of the armor.
Yes, I think you're right, Shakara, unfortunately, but I couldn't not see if it might work. So Falzern will sort of reluctantly turn off the anti-magic field and put it back into his bag, sort of a little bit let down and disappointed that he wasn't able to help them. But
It was a good try. Worth a shot.
Yeah, no harm. Well, let's get going. Horik, Klash, you with us? Who's coming?
I'll be right with you whatever time you say. I go to the other tires.
Yeah, I know you got my back.
Mia just walks away slowly, thinking of her family. You know, like what's happening to their brains, like what are they gonna be like after the charm is dispelled, if it can be. Just like really bothers her.
So we think we have is it more than a day's journey to where we're supposed to meet up with Samuel from where we are?
No, from where you are, it's only about 6 or 8 miles. So it's
Okay.
yeah, you'll get there pretty quickly. And again, a lot of that is like elevated terrain, so it's 8 miles like as the crow flies, right? So it's a little longer just going up and down some of the peaks, right? But definitely you can get there within a day. But again, Ulfa just kind of fidgety, right? Hands on their weapon.
Speak, Ulfa. What is it?
Ulfa finally, like exasperated almost. We've seen more Nyogi. North. 30 orcs. Gathering supplies.
We'd love to help, but we've got to get down to the paladins. We'll let them know when we get there.
What's the plan for these guys with the blue light?
I must smite them. They must be dealt with.
And we must take this armor to a man who will be powerful enough with it to destroy all of the Nyogi.
Do not be fool. More powerful than Ulfa Bloodsworn?
More powerful than anything you could imagine.
I doubt it.
Then you go north. We shall go south. Klash, with or without you, we need that armor.
I cannot let 30 orcs go back into the tunnels without attempting to recover them.
Then give us the chest plate.
I know she's being kind of pushy, but it's brutal honesty. It's our only hope. We need it, Klash.
I need it. Now. Can you not help me?
How far away? I look up at Ulfa.
3 miles! That's it!
You know, guys, I don't. It's not very far away. Perhaps.
Do you not see that we can wipe out all of these Nyogi once Samuel gets this armor? They will be nothing to him.
If you need a breastplate, Klash, you can have mine. I wouldn't send you into a fight unarmored.
This strength this gives me. It's difficult to give up.
I know, but it's, again, like Shakar said, it's for the greater good. It really is. We need it.
You will have it. I asked you if you would help me kill Nyogi. You said you would.
We did.
It's just gonna be little fight after little fight. We have to go to the big fight.
Little fighting is all we can do.
Then let's little fight toward the big fight, right? Let's go the right direction.
I have to do this.
Please, Klash.
Mia, he is right. If there are 30 orcs we can save now, we may not get another chance.
Hork, which way? I'm behind you.
Hey, I gotta save my kin up here north. I can't be collecting all the wood into this.
I don't know what he's saying, but we better get a move on either way.
We're gonna head north. Let's go.
Thank you. I give you my word. After this, best pay is yours, whether or not I'm accompanying you.
Yes, the breastplate will be ours.
Agreed, let's go.
A little tension in the air. Lushki turns to Mia. You know, after like a moment of silence here as everyone's agreed to go north. Did you say you're a Brightwood? Are you Mia?
Yeah, hi, I'm Mia Brightwood. Nice to meet you. How do I know you?
No, but I know your family.
Oh?
I spent some time in Barrack very recently.
Recently? How recently?
Well, 8 or 9 months ago.
Oh. I haven't been home for about a year, but I hate to break it to you. I think they're under Nyogi control. I don't know about the whole city, but at least my family when I try to reach out to them with my magic.
I'm very sorry to hear that. They were very very kind to me. I even studied with them.
They would be so helpful right now against the Neogi, and it just seeing the long-term damage that the Neogi have done to these people really stresses me out. But literally, my life is to fight these Neogi right now, to save Aspara. I appreciate everything you've been doing.
I mean, I appreciate you all. Would you care to speak more? I'm just almost finished backing my bedroll and then we can be on our way.
Sure.
Okay, so she'll kind of lead you to this little camp, and essentially Klash and Horik are going to be doing the same thing, right? They're just and kind of again, as this has been going on, like the rest of the Clashers, like many of them have already departed and kind of just like, disappeared in the surrounding fog, right? So that's what Klash and Horik are going to do, like hastily, right? Ulfa will kind of step up to Shakara.
What?
You're very fiery.
There is a lot going on.
Tell me, how skilled are you with your weapon?
I'll pull it out. And fuego. And then little dark flames will light up all along it. And I'll just hold it there staring at her with everything's like dimming around me. I'd say I'm pretty good with it.
She'll hold up her maul, her spiked maul, and we'll do something similar. And it doesn't necessarily activate it, but we'll basically light it up, and it begins to glow like with a radiant energy. And I mean, Shakara, you recognize this? She's cast like holy weapon on her maul. Very impressive.
As is yours.
Can I ask you of your oath?
That is a long story.
Swearing an oath is a long story for many of us.
And what is yours?
Mine is an oath of conquest.
I suppose you could say mine is similar. Now, it did not start out that way, but is where I am at the moment.
I've finished packing my bedroll. Would you care for a sparring session before we go?
See no harm in that.
Any bets?
Start to circle around her.
I pull on Falzern's sleeves like, oh, we got to get in on this. I sort of sit down on one of the logs that's there and go,
Falzern will speak up. I suppose I'll put 1 gold on Shakara.
1 gold? Come on.
Well, Shaft, I'm not much of a gambling man.
What's the terms here? How do we know who wins?
Well, whoever's first knocked on their ass.
First knocked on their ass, huh? I look at Ulfa. Is Ulfa considerably bigger than Shakara?
She would be now, because Shakara is medium-sized now. It's smaller because of the hex blood.
Ulfa stands about 6'7".
Oh, wow.
I think that's taller than Mia.
20 gold on Ulfa.
20 gold, Shaft, my goodness.
Yeah.
No offense, Shaft.
No. This is just... I have complete faith in you, but...
Sure.
Okay. I'll double my bet.
Well, Mr. Moneybags.
So, let me get this straight, Falzern. If you win, you get 20 gold. If I win, I get 2?
Yeah, I'll agree to those terms.
You don't understand how this works.
Well, like I said, I'm not much of a gambler, so...
Make it 10.
I'm not quite sure how this...
10. You can
10.
You can pull 10 out of your ass. Come on.
Goodness. All right, Shaft. I look over to Shakara. You've got this, Shakara.
I'll just nod back at you.
Okay. Ulfa. Bet's closed. Ulfa, maul up, still shining. Like Shakara, you kind of begin to circle each other. I guess we'll roll an initiative.
Oh, I'm off to a great start.
Oh, no. I forgot about the fact that Emily's involved in this.
I got a 3 for my initiative.
Okay, well, Ulfa got a 14.
I'm letting her go first.
Oh, right. Ulfa, charges you, and one hand kind of comes off her maul, and she just puts almost tries to, like bear hug you, and will try to grapple you. So we can do a contested strength here. Ooh, that's not good for Ulfa.
11.
11 for Ulfa.
Oh.
Oh.
So I think that means you've resisted the grapple. So she, you know, both arms kind of try to hug you, essentially. A combat hug. It's a tactical, strategic combat hug. Shakara, you just like break, you know, put your own arms up and break her grapple, and you're go.
Oh, faltering. That's a classic orc move. You ever try to knock over an orc? Oh man, they just don't go down easy.
I will attack her with my sword for a 20, dirty 20.
That hits, yep.
18 points of damage.
Oof.
Do I still get my 2 attacks while we're doing this?
Yeah.
That's a 28 to hit for 16 points of damage.
Olfa reels back. Oh, that's it. I love it. Grabs them and just swings right back at you with her maul.
There's more where that came from.
It's only a 13 hit for her first attack.
How's that 20 gold looking there, Shaft?
Oh, just wait.
So she comes barreling with her glowing weapon, swings once, misses, brings it around like a giant like sledgehammer right around up and around her head, trying to come down on you, and you just easily avoid both of her strikes.
It's not always about being the biggest. It's more about being the fastest. And I will bring my sword around for a 19 to hit.
That is gonna miss.
And I'll bring it around again. 29.
Yeah.
And this time the unholy flame will flare. I mean, technically it's on because I fuegoed it before we started. 24 points of damage. Have you had enough yet?
First strike a miss, and Olfa kind of fast, eh? And then you catch her clean with the second one, and you kind of like the flames, the anti-flame of your sword, right? Kind of striking against her body. She kind of stumbles, right, and goes down on one knee.
Yield.
Slumps. I yield. Well fought.
What the hell kind of...
Falzarin stands up and starts clapping vigorously. Bravo, Shakara. Holds out his hand to Shaft.
I reach into my bag, I take 10 gold out, and I put it in his hand. I go, see, it's fun, isn't it?
I'll go over and help her up.
Oh, so Olfa, accepts your hand, Shakara, and she kind of gets up to her feet. That was exhilarating. Let me get you a drink. Have a drink with me.
And then we best be off.
And then we're off.
I'll follow her.
I'll take Mia off mic with Lishki.
Why are we drinking things people are offering us right now?
Because we trust them?
Yeah.
These are good people, Mia.
Uh-huh. Okay. It just all feels like a big setup.
No. They're out here fighting in the Ogi.
You're
Come on.
far too paranoid.
I'm feeling very paranoid. Like, just, I don't know. Maybe you said some scary things recently, okay?
So Mia, Lishki's camp is pretty close to those people that Falls and try to help with the device, right? Mm-hmm. And Lishki says, your news hits me very, very hard. I stayed and studied with your parents, and I met your brother, Braun. We grew very close for the time that I spent there, training under them. Honestly, it was almost enough to get me to convert to Thor.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Braun is back at the base camp with the Paladins.
Oh, he is?
He is, actually. Long story, one of the crime lords in Drukal had bounties on our heads. I don't really know that we know why, but anyway, he was in a dungeon, we rescued him. He's doing much better now. It's been a rough year for my family.
I know what it's like to have your home taken by these creatures. I'm originally from Altenshik.
Oh, okay.
I can't go back there now. It's completely fallen to Neogi control. I returned there from Barrack to find it was overtaken. Thankfully, Klash and the people here, they found me and took me in. We've been fighting ever since.
Interesting. Altenshik's where I met Horik. I was there for several months, 4 months, tracking down Yogi, and there was no incidents, nothing to be found, no new information, so I went back to Zexa, and then I went again to Elton Chick again. Anyways, I traveled trying to get more information on these Neogi for so long, and there was nothing to be found. It's quite incredible how they've grown in number.
They're certainly adept at staying hidden. It seems that suddenly they're just everywhere.
Lushki, I spent like 6 months in Alton Chick. How did we not run into each other?
It's very strange. I mean, it feels like we've just been missing each other by days. How did you come to be with your traveling companions?
Well, it all started with a kraken. I was in Pisces, and there was a large storm and a kraken attacking the town. I met Shakara there. I guess Shakara was with Shaft and Falzarin at the time, so I don't know, we've been together ever since, and we've been distracted along the way. I haven't quite been able to focus on the Neogi, but it's our main priority now.
So you trust all of them, then?
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you trust the people at this camp? Do you think Klash is going to give up the breastplate?
I mean, I have never seen him without it. He is always wearing it. I think he even sleeps in it. But I believe he'll do what's right.
It's pretty bad down there. There's a lot going on. But at least we have the paladins, and I don't know. I don't know who to trust anymore. I'm just trying to do what's right.
Well, I hope that we can trust each other. And if it helps, I'm on your side when it comes to the breastplate. It needs to. Klash can't keep it.
He really can't. It's vital that Samuel wears the whole set. And again, what he'll do if we're successful with that set, I mean, I hope he doesn't take over Aspara, or, hope he's not evil or something, right? But like, we're not going to be Aspara without him having the full set of armor. Like, it's not happening. You've seen the numbers. I can only estimate the Neogi are thousands upon thousands.
Well, I mean, the population of Alton Chick alone is nearly 6,000 people. If everybody in the city is theirs, one city, that's a lot.
Did anyone else escape the city? Like, they're all under control?
Klash found as many survivors as he could. Many of us with him are from Alton Chick. I don't know if more fled elsewhere to other cities. I hope so.
Like, surely children they're not controlling children and the elderly, are they?
There's always some job that they seem to have for any able-bodied person they take.
It's weird to say, but I'm glad Braun was in Hannah's dungeon, because without him, I have no idea if I have any other family left. And I mean, to control my parents, the magic they possess, like, this is incredible. Like, I can't even, again, like I said, I've been obsessed with this. It's all coming down to this. We need to get Samuel that armor, and I need you to help end this fight, save these orcs, and get down there as fast as we can.
I know Klash is passionate, but I've seen the impact that we've had the few months I've been with them, and it seems insignificant.
That's what I mean. It's just going to be a small fight. 30 orcs now, 30 orcs later, 10 here, 10 there. And we need to get down there. We absolutely need this armor. It will change the tide. It will bolster our efforts. It will make the difference. The only difference we can make in the chance we have.
If it comes to it, and a fight is unavoidable with Klash, I will be with you.
I appreciate it, Lushki. It's not something I enjoy thinking about, but I'm not gonna lie, it might have to be forcefully taken.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Yes, Do you hear that going on outside? What is happening? I thought the fight was 3 miles away.
That's Ulfa. She can get very loud.
Is Ulfa trustworthy? Would she help us if need be?
I'm quite close with Ulfa, but to be honest, Ulfa goes where the most fighting is.
Sounds like it.
If that's going to be with the Paladins, then Ulfa will be with us.
Okay, yeah, we have many friends, many contacts, and, like a war chest at our disposal down there. I think you'll be very impressed. The Paladins are great in number and in wealth.
I look forward to making a difference with you. Like I say, I have a great fondness for your family, and I'm glad to have finally met you. Your parents speak very highly of you.
Well, I think that they wished I took more of your route and focused on healing, but, I look at my hammer, I just love fighting.
We each have to seek our own calling. I think you've made the right choice.
Yeah, well, if we have to call on Thor, we'll call on Thor. We'll call on how do you say your god's name?
A monitor.
A monitor. If we have to call on a monitor, I will worship and call on whoever I need to. Like, these Neogi are evil.
Well, a monitor is harsh, but a fair deity. And they demand that order is brought to this world. I'm just trying to help that happen.
Exactly. Let's go break up this fight. It's wasting precious energy and resources. This is ridiculous.
I'm glad we had this chance to connect.
Same.
And yeah, she kind of finishes, tying up the bedroll, attaching it to her pack, and you can rejoin the others. Shaft and Falzern, you've been left alone with Klash and Hork, again, as the two of them are kind of rolling up bedrolls and kind of pulling up stakes kind of thing. As they're working, kind of Klash, nods ahead to Falzern.
That device you have, it can be used against the Nogi?
Well, I hadn't thought of that, Klash. That's an interesting thought. Functionally, from what I understand, it sort of disables any magic that is within the cone. I don't know if you could kind of see that sort of a gray area that it emits. I'm not completely certain that what the Neogi are doing when they control the minds of their captives is magic that this would work against.
Yeah, but they do jump around a lot. Like they teleport, they move. There's other things that they have some kind of magical ability.
Yeah, it would prevent spells from being cast. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not certain that it would interfere with their psychic abilities. I don't
The problem is it's also going to stop Falzern from being able to cast any kind of spells, too. Or anybody else.
Right. Yes, it disables any magic within the field that it emits.
Even the breastplate?
As he kind of taps and knuckles to his chest.
Well, I don't fully understand exactly how the breastplate works, but my guess would be yes.
I mean, if you shine it on him, do you feel different when you're wearing the breastplate?
I feel strong and capable. My strength knows no limit with this breastplate.
Yes, Klash, my guess would be that it would either temporarily or perhaps permanently undo whatever magic is causing the breastplate to give its wearer this strength.
What is stopping Neogi forces for using something similar against Koltice?
Well, that's a good point. I think it's very, very difficult to come across an item such as this. I've personally never seen one before in all of the years that I've studied the arcane arts.
Falzern, it's not a bad idea to find out if that would, counteract what the chestplate and maybe all the other armor would be doing if it was to come in handy for some reason.
What do you think Falzern would think, Leland, based on he obviously knows more about magic than I do.
How about you? Okay, roll me roll me an Arcana check with advantage. As again, you've spent some time kind of looking over this device and getting familiar with the device and its effects?
18.
Dedicating the processing power to kind of think about this and mull this over in this moment, you do recall a very short and almost like an offhand like passage in this tome that, you know, one of many tomes that you've breezed through on Heracleon about anti-magic fields. Like, you were immediately able to recognize what this device was putting out as an anti-magic field because of your readings. But this one little passage basically noted that while it disables and not disables, suppresses, though, that's the important thing, remember, it suppresses, so it's not dispelling anything, but suppresses magical effects and magical items. There are arcane artifacts that exist in the world and have existed and, you know, still do exist, that are powerful enough to overcome an anti-magic field. So certain items of legendary prestige, right, and legendary power are just too powerful to be suppressed by any type of anti-magic field.
Well, you know, Chef, it's a good thought. I hadn't really thought about it myself, but I think most things would be suppressed or disabled, however you want to think of it, by the effects, this anti-magic field. But I have read of some rare but extremely powerful sort of artifacts or items that could be powerful enough to overcome the effects of this anti-magic field.
Well, let's test it. I mean, Klash is here right now. I mean, this is a great opportunity to find out how it'll work potentially later.
I suppose we could. I think there's probably not any harm. Klash, what do you think? Should we test it out?
Let's do it. Turn it on.
Okay. So, Klash, I'm going to shine this device at you, and I think you should sort of, whatever effect you feel from the armor should go away or be suppressed to some extent. You let me know if you feel anything. So I'll pull out the anti-magic device and rotate it so that it creates a beam pointing at Klash, and shine it on the breastplate.
He kind of stands there, letting this gray light kind of wash over him for a second. Looks down at his hands, at the breastplate itself, and that like pristine kind of gleam of the breastplate does not go away under the effects of your device. Klash kind of just walks over to one of these saplings in the ground, and I would say this probably has a trunk about 9 or 10 inches in diameter. He just kind of palms it with one of his meaty orc hands and just almost effortlessly just rips it out of the ground and kind of just discards it.
I feel no different.
My goodness. The strength. That is incredible, Klash.
Well, that's fortunate and unfortunate at the same time.
Yes. I think it would have been nice for us to have some ability to weaken this armor should we ever need to in the future, but
Yeah, there goes our leverage.
yes, it was a good thought, Shaft.
Okay, well,
thank you, Klash. I appreciate you cooperating and letting us test this out.
Now, this means you can suppress the Nyogi, and I can still cut them to pieces.
Well, we can certainly hinder their ability to cast spells, but again, I'm not sure I totally understand their ability to control minds, or if that is a type of spell that this would work on. But it would weaken them definitely to a certain extent for them to not be able to cast magical spells.
Everything helps.
Yes, I agree.
And Klash will go back to pulling up camp.
yeah, I'll go over and pull Horik aside. Hey, buddy, when this is all done, I need your help.
Hey, we do anything for you.
I know you would, but Nina's in trouble. She's I can't go into the whole detail, but basically her essence is in a container that needs to be put back in her body. I know this sounds crazy. Well, I gave that to Kepley, and he's gonna help out as best he can. But when we get this armor thing squared away, you and we gotta go help her.
Hey, you getting your girl back there? Do I say? Hey, Mr. Taylor, she's pretty every day. How'd you get it done?
Yeah, I mean, I knew you had my back. And, I hate to pull you away from everything that's going on here, but, we're sort of family.
Hey, baby, me McKinn.
I sort of reach up and slap him on the shoulder and say, all right, let's get this done.
He gives you a slap back. Something he's done many times, when you're growing up. Give you that friendly pat, a little too hard for some of your size, but...
Okay.
Shortly thereafter, Mia and Lushki will rejoin you. And so we'll go with just Shakara now. Shakara, Ofa, the two of you kind of walk away to her camp, but she, a few steps away, like the fog kind of encloses, around you. This still permeating here, kind of in this, where the frozen lake is. It's like this kind of valley, right? So like the fog just seems to like settle almost at its thickest down here. Hell of a fight. Where'd you learn to wield that sword?
I have been training since I was young.
I've been fighting all my life too, in the mountains.
You come from the mountains? What does she look like when she took her helmet off?
She hasn't taken her helmet off.
Oh, she hasn't. You come from the mountains?
Born and raised.
Is it always this foggy?
It is here by the lake. I don't particularly like it here. Higher up. Mind you, it's been a while since I've walked the peaks. Found myself in Drukal, bit of a youngin'. Fought my way in the pits, where I learned to fight.
You are most impressive with that weapon.
I look forward to fighting next to you, side by side. Olfa and Shakara.
Yes, we could do some damage.
Oh, I can't wait to unleash a smite into these Eelies.
Have you fought many?
Hundreds. You?
Several. I have not been in the mountains much.
Lucky for you, they're everywhere. Pick up a rock,
Yes.
you'll find them under there. Look in a cave, you'll find them under there. Walk into a building in a city, you'll find them there.
Yes.
How'd you get hooked up with your companions there?
Shaft and Falzarin, I ran into outside of Pisces. I was helping my friend Campbell find ingredients, and they were trying to get away from the infinite storm. We banded together over a common cause. There had been another, named Bryn. We lost her in the tunnels under the lake. We eventually ran into Mia and joined causes with her, and have been traveling together ever since.
I've lost lots as well. Too many people. Too many to count. Way higher than I can count.
It is difficult to get attached to people.
You don't trust easily then.
Not anymore. No.
So it's safe to say you don't trust those you're with.
Why do you ask?
Seemed like a sensible question.
Do you trust those that you are with?
Never.
Then why are you with them?
I go where the fight goes.
You must trust them to some extent.
I suppose in the heat of combat you have to rely on those around you, yes?
At one point in time, I would have said I trust my companions with my life. I am not so sure now. Things have changed. I have changed. Do you think you could trust me?
I like the way you fight. That's something. In fact, it's usually everything to me.
Is that all you do? Fight?
I drink?
Nothing wrong with that.
Is that all you do?
Lately, it certainly seems that way.
It's not difficult to find one, is it?
Definitely not. We seem to have gone from one fight to another.
Isn't that just life?
Little more dire consequences lately.
More dire than life and death.
Yes,
I suppose the Neogi are a pretty significant threat.
they are not the only one.
I definitely know that. Look, like I said, I enjoy the fight. I give Klash props for what he's doing here with his people, but they're not making a dent. They're not doing much.
That is why we hope to give the armor to Samuel Koltice. He says, with all of the pieces of armor, which he is only missing the chest plate and the gauntlets that we possess, he will be able to stop the Neogi.
Do you think that trust could go both ways between the two of us?
Potentially.
What does it take to earn your trust?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I believe time. And you can show yourself. You can prove to me that you deserve it.
But by the sounds of the way you're talking, it doesn't seem like we'd have much time. Like nobody does.
Things have been quite rushed recently.
Look, in the interest of trust, I didn't just want to have a drink with you. I need you to meet somebody.
Who?
An associate of mine. And I think by extension, you'll find that he's an associate of yours.
Where is he?
Yeah, as the two of you have been, you're walking and talking, like the passing those little saplings, right? Their trunks begin to grow a little thicker, and they've kind of grown closer together. You're now walking up a bit of an incline. Clear that you're getting further and further away from camp. And Ulfa, stops as she's saying that she needs to introduce you to somebody. Two figures kind of emerge from the fog. A middle-aged human. He's got white scars that kind of mark his face, like on both cheeks. Just kind of random, 1 to 3 inch scars, about a half dozen of them. Kind of juxtaposed by like chiseled features, though. They capture kind of this youthfulness despite his middling age. Walking about a step or two behind him is an elven man. He's got shoulder-length silver hair, covering just the right half of his head. The left is this canvas of mottled scar tissue from severe burns. They continue down the side of his face, like the left side of his scalp, down the side of his face and neck, and kind of disappear underneath the collar of his black robes that he wears, and that matches what hair he has left. The lining, he's got like silver thread lining these robes, giving it kind of this accent.
As soon as I see them, I am going to take a step back and put my hand on my hilt of my sword.
The human will kind of raise his hands. He does have a longbow on his back and a rapier at his side. Pleased to meet you there, Shakara. Name's Gillian Van Gorian.
Killian.
This here's Delmark.
I've heard that name before.
Don't doubt Shaft would have mentioned me.
What is it that you want?
Well, you see, I want the armor. Isabella wants the armor.
Why does Isabella want the armor?
I don't ask those types of questions of my employers. We've been working a long time to get these pieces.
When was the last time you spoke with Isabella?
I haven't seen her in months.
Things have changed.
Not the way I see it.
The deal I know of is the armor goes to Koltice, and Koltice gives us the eyes.
And what I've seen is the eyes are currently in use.
Does it mean they'll stay that way?
I'll be seeing to that.
He does not yet have the armor.
Well, I see you've got 2 pieces yourself.
One, mostly.
Isabella needs these back on the island. In addition to the eyes.
What about the Neogi?
What about them?
Koltice cannot stop the Neogi without the armor.
Well, maybe Isabella can.
Not without all of the armor. And he has some pieces already.
We're gonna have to get those pieces. Or get Samuel to the island with him himself. Isabella didn't specify.
That might be possible. Either or. Shavs cannot know that you are here.
I wouldn't tell him I agree with that. I imagine he wants me dead.
A little bit.
Nobody should know I'm here.
I am agreed on that.
Hell of a job getting those pieces, by the way. We put in a lot of legwork to get where we are. You come swooping in ahead of us.
You have been searching for the pieces all along.
Well, call us Isabella's plan B. In case dealings with Samuel went a little sideways.
There is much planning to be done on how to get the pieces of the armor where they need to be.
Well, you've been successful getting Klash to give up his piece.
There's been a little wrinkle with that. We must go defeat some Nyogi nearby first.
Well, short of brawling it out with Klash himself, not sure we can get around that.
Agreed. Once these Nyogi are defeated, we take Klash to Samuel, or the breastplate, preferably. I'll have to see what I can do about either getting Samuel or the armor pieces that he currently has to the island.
Well, it seems to me that taking the gauntlets and the chestplate back to Heraklion could spur Samuel needing to make an appearance there.
How would we explain the loss to Koltice without losing our lives ourselves?
Well, no one needs to lose their life. Though you are traveling with a few folks I'd consider to be expendable.
They have proven themselves so.
Well, that chap sure is, capable.
He's handy with his swords.
Well, I did teach him everything he knows.
He's rather full of himself, too. Did you teach him that?
When you're as capable as I am, I guess it rubs off on people.
I see.
I've heard you're capable yourself.
I can do what needs to be done.
Good. Had a feeling this would go our way.
I'm sure you did.
And Telmark is kind of like this the whole time behind Killian. He looks fidgety, right? Like he kind of like intermittently like swats the air, like on either of his shoulders, almost absent-mindedly. And you kind of see him like look to his right shoulder periodically, and as if he's like whispering something.
What is wrong with him?
Well, that's a longer conversation than we have time for. I knew she'd ask you that. I knew it. I saw it. I told you. Shh.
I'll just give him a weird look. I will look to Ulfa. Are you with Isabella as well?
I'm with Killian, so he's with Isabella. So yes, yeah. Like I said, I go where the fight is. I find staying close to Killian, that's a fight usually breaks out.
Are you members of the family?
Oh, you mean that the whole Dendar thing?
Yes.
No. Never been asked, to be honest, but I don't think it's for me.
And I'll look to Killian.
I don't pay much mind to the gods and theirs.
It may behoove you to pay a little attention.
Well, we sure are making a big deal over our eyes, that's for sure.
They are quite powerful.
So is the armor.
Dendar whole is more so.
Well, maybe Isabella can put in a good word.
Mayhaps she could.
You see, Telmark, he kind of takes a hesitant step forward, almost lined up with Killian, but clearly, like not coming up to be on his same level, but still being behind him a little bit. How did it feel? What did it feel like when you killed her? What did it feel like? I saw it.
Killed who?
Hannah. What did it feel like?
I did not kill her.
I was there. I saw it.
I struck her down, but I did not make the final blow.
Oh, yeah, I get confused. I just get confused. I get confused sometimes.
You have problems with Hannah?
No, I don't have any problems. I saw her death. I saw a bunch of different ways. Not everything comes true. Only a few things. Shh.
Have you seen anything about me?
Oh, yeah, lots. Yeah.
Like what?
Lots of things. I don't like to think about lots of things.
Have you seen my death?
I've seen lots of deaths.
But mine.
Yours, mine, Killian's, Ulfa's, everybody's. Lots of times.
And you don't want to speak on it?
The more I can't concentrate. I can't concentrate on it. The more I think, the more it hurts. I tried to stop things once. I tried to stop things. I tried. I tried to save you. Stop it. Look, I wouldn't put much stock in Telmark's ramblings. Now, he's useful. He's got lots of useful information. But you kind of gotta filter through what he sees. He divines things.
People like that could be quite useful to have around.
Well, how do you think we got this far? That's part of it.
What is your plan now?
Well, you've put a bit of a wrench into it. You got to the amulet before us. I put in a lot of time working on Hannah, figuring out where that thing was. Getting in our good graces with the whole Braun thing. Ulfa put a lot of time here with Klash. Keeping an eye on that piece. It's time for a new plan. Like I say, if you want it to look like a accident, Klash can meet his end. Maybe in this fight that's upcoming.
I care not for Klash. We could... Yes, that could work. We could get the breastplate away from him during the battle. I could make sure he is in place where you could grab it, and then you could take it to Isabella. How would we know where you are, though? I need a probable story for the others.
Well, I'm always around, but Ulfa will take the plate from you.
Still, how will I explain to the others where it is? How will I get Koltice to Heraklion?
You let me worry about that. Koltice and I have a bit of a history.
I have heard that also.
He's not too fond of me.
That is what I gathered. It does not seem like many people like you.
I seem to get that a lot. For the life of me, couldn't tell you why. As he kind of smirks.
Feels like a you problem.
Well, now it's an us problem.
Out of necessity.
Well, that's where the best relationships are formed out of. Gonna put his hand out for a shake.
I'll look at him for a second, and I'll shake his hand.
I like the forearm grab, right?
Yeah.
Now, who's got the gauntlets?
Shaft.
Of course he does. We'll have to get them away from him. If I'm going back to Isabella, I'm going back with at least 2 pieces.
Is not the breastplate enough?
Isabella says the whole set.
I would feel better if we had something to give to Koltice. Although 2 pieces would be a bigger draw to get him to grow Heraklion.
I agree. I wouldn't go back empty-handed. If we pull off getting this chest plate and the gauntlets from Shaft, well, you just come with us back to the island. No need to go to the Paladins.
We shall see how that works out.
I don't like uncertainty.
The entire world is uncertainty.
It is if you choose to leave it that way.
So many things could change. I cannot promise you anything at this point, other than I will try to get the breastplate to you.
Look, I'm telling you, this conversation we're having here, it's a courtesy. This is a courtesy I'm extending to you.
Oh, is it?
That's right.
Do you know who I am?
I've been informed.
then I think it is a courtesy from me to you to tell you I will try.
Well, that's a great, courteous start to this partnership.
I do not trust you. And I'll look to Ulfa. I do not know if I trust you. But here we are. We are all working towards what Isabella wants. Best to work together. I do not believe you need to threaten me.
I don't threaten anyone. I simply tell them the way things are gonna be. You ask Shaft about how that goes. I get what I'm after in the end. Every time.
Eventually you will be disappointed.
Eventually, when it comes, we'll deal with it then. But it's not today.
The battle, then. You will be there, watching.
I'll be close.
You will get the chest plate,
You hand it off to Olfa.
and we will go from there.
Agreed.
I'll nod to him, turn around, and walk away.
All right. Olfa will, a few steps behind you, will trail and keep up with you, and you kind of leave Killian and Telmark behind.
How long have you known him?
I've known him long time. He found me in the pits. He knows what he's doing.
You are loyal to him.
Yeah. The trust thing. I have it for him.
Good to know.
Look, I didn't want to mislead you, but had to get you away from the little guy.
I understand. Shaft would not appreciate knowing the Killian is here or involved in any way.
Yeah. I've heard what went down between them.
I've heard some. Shaft is very secretive.
Yeah, well, apparently he gets that from Killian.
It's not the only thing. Shaft is a worthy foe. Very skilled. Falzarin, for all that he appears bumbling, is a worthy foe. As is Mia.
Well, the plan's not to fight them all. Like, I like a fight. You gotta avoid a losing fight if you can.
Yes, we must avoid fighting them at all costs. They will not be easy to deceive, either.
I mean, we need those gauntlets. The chestplate seems easy.
Once you get the chest plate, you must be gone.
Yeah, I can do that.
If they see you take it, they will go after you.
Okay. I mean, I'll lose him. I mean, I'm big, but I'm fast.
Shaft is quite a tracker. Do you know any tricks? You have any skills, any spells?
What, tricks you mean, like juggling? I can do that.
Yes, like juggling. That'll be very helpful in helping you escape through the mountains that Shaft is very familiar with.
Look, I don't know. I've been in these mountains for a while, too, okay? I've fought all over the place.
I am just telling you, hide what you are doing. Do not let them see you take the breastplate. Do not let them see you leave.
All right. I got it. I can handle it.
I will help you cause confusion and hopefully have them look other ways so they don't see you.
Perfect. I knew it. We'd be a good team. Ulfa and Shakara.
Yes.
She'll give you a bit of a slap on the back.
Yes. This should be interesting.
And that's our show. For more Aspara information, visit incorrigibleparty.com, where you can find all of our social media links, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as our Patreon. Our patrons get exclusive content like blooper reels and patron-only mini-campaigns. Our theme music was created by Josh Jarvis. For any of your musical needs, you can contact him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com. All the rest of our sounds and music throughout our plays provided by tabletopaudio.com. And of course, our show sponsor, Critical Hit Design. For your design needs, visit criticalhitdesign.com. Happy adventuring. General Stellis opens the flap of the newly established command tent. A frigid wind sends it whipping against Stellis' leg as he seals it back up to block the inclement weather. Samuel Koltice waits for him stooped over a table, examining a map of Aspara. The amulet of Kalar and the cipher lay on the table next to it. Stellis! Are the retrieval teams in position?
The general nods in affirmation.
They are waiting for the direction. Whichever team is closest will be mobile within minutes of giving the command. Good. Take your leave. Prepare for advancement into the tunnels.
Stellus gives another quick nod and exits the tent, allowing the outside winds to penetrate the relative warmth of the tent once more. The edges of the map fluttering and curling against the stones that hold each corner in place. Opening the cipher and collecting the amulet, Samuel begins to activate the symbols etched into its perfect gold sides.